I see that people are already saying hello. So hello back to Vilnius, to Vietnam. Nice to see you here. And audience is in Latvia. So more people might join during the event. Before we begin, I would like to kick off a little bit by saying what Hub for Coaches does. So Hub for Coaches is the online community on school platform created by the coaches for the coaches to help our fellows to kick off their coaching credentials, to get certified, and to build sustainable practices. So the series called "I Love Being a Coach, So What?" touches a very sensitive topic for a lot of coaches. Is I like doing it. I like the profession. I know how to get certified. There's a clear path to it, but what to do with the business building? And then a lot of us get lost. So with Alessandro's event, we are also kicking off a very important part for Hub for Coaches community is to concentrate more on business building. So we will have workshops about niche and a workshop about personal branding, and we may add more along the way. And we will also have a very dedicated work for probably a half a year. We're still working on it, where we're going to have clear steps on how to build our business further. So that's going to be led by Rimvidas, and we will all work together, meet together. We will have exercises and everything. So these all business related workshops and meetings will be available for our premium members. So I'm going to be very excited to see you there. So let's get back to Alessandra. Alessandra, first of all, I'm very grateful that you are here to be our guest. So maybe we start with you, and you would tell us how you found coaching. How did you how many years you're doing this? How did you decide that it's not just a passion or the thing you do, and you want to turn that into a sustainable profession?
So many questions. First of all, hello everybody, and thank you as well, Maria, for welcoming here to this community that I joined as well recently, and obviously to have the chance to speak to all of you and tell you my story. Where to start? So first of all, I'm Alessandro. I'm Italian originally, but I grew up in Germany, and life took me to different countries in Europe where I studied and where I worked. I did a corporate career in the IT sector and in the telecom sector when I started in 2010. So this is when my career really began. And I moved to London. I lived in London for 8 years, and that's where primarily I built up a sales career. And during those years, in 2013, it was the first time that I had the chance and the privilege to experience coaching. And I experienced it the first time as a client myself. So I was quite stuck with my career. Mind you, I was 27, so I was still kind of new to career and to grow as a professional. So it wasn't quite clear to me which directions to take. And coaching was this one experience that was the best development experiences that I ever experienced back then. I had many trainings about project management, about sales and marketing, but there was no training that would really come to the same level of growth and development, as I said, than coaching. So it allowed me, I had a fantastic coach, it has to be said. And I had that for 6 months. And thanks to that experience and that coaching, it allowed me to broaden my horizon quite significantly and to go deeper into understanding myself better, understanding what I really wanted, understanding and seeing possibilities that just by myself I would have never seen. And that then coupled with gaining some courage and going into action to dare and try something new, it allowed me to make a big shift in my career. So changing sector and at the same time assuming an account management role and being responsible for big clients and companies around Europe. So that happened then when I was quite, early in my career, let's say, and I was obviously very hungry to continue to grow and to develop myself. But that was the first coaching experience as a client, let's put it this way. And it was the spark, I loved the whole process. That was really what made me curious about coaching, what made me curious to read about it and find out more about it. It was really a spark that I experienced there, and it gave me a lot of joy, motivation, and interest. And that's how it started to satisfy that curiosity. That's how I got then into coaching.
Mm. It's a nice start to be a client first and experiencing it on Weber and then getting into coaching. So when did you decide to study coaching yourself and to become a coach?
Yeah. So basically, I grew in my career. I grew up into a leadership position myself, and I had the chance to lead a team myself in as a sales manager, as a sales director, and and I was in that period, so it was around 2015. I started to learn through some trainings. I started to learn more about coaching, and I was starting to apply it with the people I was managing and the projects that I was managing. So I was really putting coaching knowledge and tools into practice. But that wasn't enough. And when I decided to completely change my career, which happened in 2017, I realized that I really wanted to have bigger impact. And I really noticed that that's an area where I get most energy from and most joy from. And that I noticed that I'm really good at as well. And people gave me really good feedback. And I noticed, okay, maybe there is something here to invest in. And so I took an important decision to resign from that career and from that corporate job that I had, and to invest myself into what I really wanted. And so I did a diploma in 2018 in professional coaching and mentoring in the UK, which allowed me to study properly coaching for a whole year and then become ACC certified. I've always been a member of the EMCC, of the European Mentoring Coaching Council. So in my case, ACC was the practitioner level. And that's how I started. So mind you, I was already coaching then for 2, 3 years. So in 2019, then I began and started my own business on the 7th of January 2019. Yeah. And now it's been 7 years. So I'm really proud.
The anniversary was just around the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Congrats.
7 years. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, so 7 years in coaching now. The business is running 7 years, so with coaching you are around 9 years.
Yeah,
And yeah,
it's about plus 10 years of coaching overall and plus 7 years now of my business. Yeah.
so how's it going now? The business, the coaching, where are you at?
It's going very well. I'm really proud of what I created. There are other coaches that collaborate with me, and obviously it's been a long journey. It's been really a roller coaster of building up something that at the end of the day is not just a passion, but it's really an entrepreneurial organization to run, an activity to run. And no, it's going pretty well today. And what I love most about it is to never stop learning, and that is something that defines also success for me and how I see it. It's not just business growth and revenue growth or growing in that sense, but it's really about how I grow myself as a coach, because that's at the end what people experience that I work with. But I can say that over these many years, I had the privilege, the honor, but also the interest to coach as many people as possible. And what I mean by that is really the diversity of clients that I guided. Um, and I'm really proud of this part because over the years I had the chance to study senior leaders. I had the chance to coach young managers, first-time managers, women in leadership, also students in universities trying to figure out what they wanted to do and which direction to take. So when I began with my own business, my inspiration was to help people with change. That was my main area of focus, because I brought a lot of experience, a lot of expertise in that area. And that is something that I wanted to help people with, and I still do today. But it has to be said that it has it has experienced evolution. It has experienced development of my own skill, my own area that I focus on today. So it's become richer and richer, but it was really important to experience that diversity and experience coaching young people, coaching old people, coaching um, women, men, LGBT plus, all the way, the spectrum, also from different cultures, in different languages. I mean, today I coach in 4 different languages fluently. So that allows me obviously to see also a big spectrum of cultures. And it's what I love most about it, to continue also to experience new clients, new experiences, things that challenge me as well. So that's what I'm looking for nowadays. Yeah.
We had a small interruption here. So, Alessandro, as you say, you coach a diverse range of people. First, first of all, how did you decide who to coach and how did you find those clients?
Um, Again, who to coach, it was starting with people that were afraid to make a change, but knew that they needed to make a change and they wanted to make a change. But change is extremely uncomfortable, difficult, and however, a necessity if somebody wants to grow. And this is what inspired me to even create and start Lobster Coaching, because it's inspired by that. It's inspired by change and transformation. Um, so those were the clients that I was looking for at the beginning. And of course, at the beginning you start learning more about the territory of coaching. You need to go out there and go into the discomfort yourself at the beginning, right? And put yourself out there, and you've never coached anyone before properly, so you really need to go and um, and go into the unknown. It's really unknown at the beginning, so I know how that feels. And at the beginning, I used my network a lot. So obviously, I had more than 8 years of a corporate career, and especially in sales, one of the aspects that are most important is to build relationships and to nurture relationships. So there was a vast network, and a really good network, that I could lean on and that I could start making my experiences. And this is how it started. And then, thanks to those experiences, word by mouth is the best marketing you can get. You can do a lot of social media. You can have a lot of testimonials. You can do a lot in terms of content online. But the absolute best marketing that you can get is when somebody speaks about you concretely to someone else or to multiple people, recommending you concretely and become your ambassador. And when that happens, then it's a ripple effect. And that's what I'm also really proud of. And I think that the hard work and also the struggles to go through led to reap some rewards in that sense. So it needed a lot of patience as well. You know, there is patience, there is discipline involved, and yeah, and persistence for sure.
Well, congratulations, Alessandro. I'm very happy of your growth.
Thank you.
So if you go to these struggles, what were the struggles to kick this business off, to make it happen?
Can you ask the question again, please?
What were the main struggles you had
Ah,
to build this business?
um, I think the realization, especially that passion is not enough. It really requires hard work, for sure, and there are definitely no shortcuts. That is something that I've always heard about. You know, at the beginning, a lot of people were telling me that, and I would press on, you know, with my idea, but it's really true. You need a lot of patience, and there are no shortcuts to it. But I had several struggles. I had several moments, and it still happens. You know, this is why entrepreneurial life and working is so different to a corporate job. Because you are unaware of the next challenge that you get completely, and you will never be fully prepared for something that you will struggle with in the future. So COVID was for me, as for many of us entrepreneurs, obviously a wake-up call. It was a moment where I did doubt, for sure, where I had my sleepless nights and wondering how to get out of some extreme situations, and how to continue to make a difference and to keep it alive at the end of the day. I also experienced personally a knee surgery in 2023, which has switched off my business to zero. So that was quite a challenging part as well. Also a moment of questioning, is it possible to continue? Is it the end of what I created? Um, and it needs to come with a lot of resources within you. So if I wouldn't have had a support system around me, the right people around me, really good supervision with me, but also great business mentors around me, then it would have been really hard to get out of it just by myself. And I think in those moments you realize how lonely you can be when you run your own business, and how important your self-care is in those moments. So it's really essential that you surround yourself with people that are your biggest fans in a way, you know, that are close to you and are your biggest fans, and people that can actually help you as well. I don't think this is something where you can do it all alone all the time. So those have been struggles, for example, as well as you all experience, I'm sure, but an increasing cost of life that just keeps ramping up very, very steeply. And so in the past, this has shown as well a challenge. When I started coaching, life was sweet. Life was not as disruptive as it is now. So I experienced this change as well. So a constant adaptation was necessary, a constant adjustment of how you strategically run your business. So yeah, I think I've always approached my business in looking at coaching in a way to find solutions. So as long as you, I think, look at solutioning coaching, um, you can find greater opportunities to make it work. And then with that, I learned to take on responsibility for what I do and be disciplined and also set myself targets that are important to me. Yeah.
So what are the targets that are important to you?
There are many. I never stop thinking about the next target, but there are many. I think for me, I've been now senior practitioner with the EMCC for 4 years. I think for me, it's coming. Um, the moment is coming to grow to the next level. I think I want to become a master practitioner soon, and that's just for me. It's just for me in terms of continuing to shape the coach that I am, um, but also learn more in working with groups. I've been a team coach as well. I've worked with NGOs and team coaching them, and it would be, I think I want to maintain to stay humble, and really understand that there is so much to grow still into. I have coaches in that work with me, that collaborate with me, that are much more experienced than I am. And even though they have a PCC or a senior practitioner certification, but they have 30, 40 years of experience in coaching. So they even beyond the master level certification, So I think this is also very important to bear in mind. Set yourself targets and goals to grow that mean something to you, is I think the key aspect. So as long as I set myself targets that involve my personal growth, and my professional growth, that as a consequence will drive what I want to achieve next in terms of business as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm living my dream in a way. It's never been an obsession for me. Um, I really seek to grow as a person, and to inspire others. I think
There is no sound, or it's
Yes,
just
Alessandro, I think there is some internet interruption and we don't
yeah,
hear you. Oh,
yeah.
you're
Can you hear
you're
me now?
back. Yes.
So apologies for that. I think with the storms in Portugal, we have sometimes some issues.
Yes.
What did you hear last?
Uh, now you were talking for a minute, but if you don't mind,
Yeah,
maybe we can actually go to Vida's question. It's
sure.
okay. Yes.
Yeah,
I've
yeah,
heard about the challenges, but Vida has a question for a better understanding. Could you share what areas your business covers today? I think that also kind of it's maybe it's more like a question about the niche, maybe, or the business like areas and niche,
yeah.
and what is it, the scope of it and components?
The scope of it and components. Okay. So the areas where I personally specialize most is I continue to specialize in areas that focus on transformation and change. And that is the core where it all started, and it keeps staying that way. Um, and the other two areas where I focus most in is leadership development is one, and the other one is mental health and burnout prevention. Why? Because I have worked with many leaders, again, from new managers, emerging leaders to established C-level leaders, and that's an area that I've noticed that I can make a great impact in, and so I continue to work with that. Um, And in terms of mental health, there's a lot of experience and expertise that I gained as well in this area. First, by my own experiences, but also in terms of development. So I developed myself a lot into behavioral science, and I actually developed a program that helps people prevent overwhelming stress and burnout. And in this is a highly unique program because it doesn't only combine coaching, it combines a therapeutic approach, it combines a training. People actually gain skills and methodologies to prevent burnout, and it's co-facilitated. So it's not just myself, but it's with one of my colleagues. And I'm really proud of that program as well because it's growing. It's growing very fast. So yeah, it's a fantastic impact that we can have with this program, and then continue to do where where it's working really well for me. So you know, in all of these three areas, at the end of the day, the coaching methodologies that you have learned, that I have learned, come into play. And I see it always a little bit like a Swiss Army knife. You know, you have, yes, you can have lots of tools and lots of methodologies to learn, but then it's about recognizing and understanding when is the moment to use what and how to adapt it to a person, and seeing what emotional state maybe the person even is in front of you, and what challenges are being faced, and what is the context that they live in and work in. So there is no one size fits all or one standard approach to these areas, I would say. It really needs a development of the coach, of an ability to adapt and to put the client first. This is the most important thing. It doesn't matter what approach you use, but what is important, what really matters, is that the client is in the center of attention, and that you take yourself out of the equation. That's what I always bear in mind when I coach, that I'm there, I'm present in the room, and my interest is my client's interest, not mine. So that is really, really crucial for me. I always make an analogy like a car, like a vehicle, right? So coaching is the vehicle, but the driver is the client, and I sit beside. So it's really about guiding and listening, asking really good questions, and trying to help the client decide where to steer and which direction to go. It's really, we're there for them, we're not there for us. And what I also always keep in mind, and I think this is also another really important aspect in coaching, is that, and this is difficult when you run a business, I have to say, because often what you hear in entrepreneurship and in business is how to make returning clients. And that is a paradox in coaching, because in coaching, the ultimate objective and mission is to make a client independent from you. So our mission is not to make returning clients or to keep a client with you forever. It's to enable a client to coach themselves, to transform themselves, and to move on with the growth that they make. And in doing so, what is underestimated is the impact that you will have and on that client makes them an ambassador of you. So that shouldn't be underestimated. Yeah.
That's a pretty interesting struggle we have, right? We want them to have a full ownership of a process, to be independent, to grow, and then they go.
Yeah.
Yes. So we have another question from I'm sorry if I mispronounce your name, Kuram. Kuram, maybe you want to switch on your camera and say your question out loud.
Yes, hi. This is Karam.
Hi.
Hi, everyone. So this is a really nice platform. I'm really enjoying the talk by Alessandro. It's really insightful, actually. Thanks, Alessandro. I just want to ask this question that how with the coaching stuff, there's a thin line between coaching and therapy.
Yeah.
So you just spoke about the therapeutic process that you mix up with your coaching and the client, the program that you have.
Yeah.
I just want to have some of your views around how much the therapy process is important for us as a starter. Like for me, how much should I include that knowledge and the processes and the tools to include in my coaching process to grow as a business and those things? How do you see that important for me as a starter?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Can I be very honest and direct with you?
Please.
Don't. I actually draw a very clear line when it comes to coaching and therapy. What I do in terms of mental health, in fact, is a very atypical program. And it is not coaching. I don't sell it as coaching. It's a well-being program that combines different approaches. And I repeat, it's very atypical. And there's a lot of complexity to it. And it came with a lot of experience that wasn't just built by myself, but it was built with my colleagues. So I would invite you to actually even forget about that. It's an area that I focus in, but it again, I would have never been able to do that at the beginning when I started. This came together because the way that I developed and grew as a professional. But when I started, it was absolutely pure coaching, and I still completely love that and do that. And when it comes to explaining our clients and to make sure that they are very clear on the expectations and understanding what they can get from you and how you can help them, it's really crucial that you draw and cut through and make a clear line that and this is really a recommendation from my side, but you might have learned this from your certifications, to not go there, because there are plenty of really professional therapists and psychologists that can do that kind of work much, much better than we do. And they also have a reason to exist for that. So I highly recommend to set boundaries there and to really communicate that that's not an area where you can go. And although you might have some knowledge and some foundations, but you cannot really help a person with upbringing issues or traumatic events that impact their day-to-day today. So at least that's a point where I take responsibility. And if I notice when I work with a client that it happens every now and then that a client has a tendency to lean or to go into that direction, then it's my job to bring them back. And also check with the client, is this still right for you? Is this still something that the kind of help that you need? We also learn to recontract as coaches, right? And that is a very important part, because a coaching engagement evolves and sometimes it takes different directions. So we need to always make sure that what we're doing and is right for them, and that the client does need what we do. Otherwise, I have plenty of therapists that I can recommend to my clients. So, and I never hesitate to make sure that they are supported in whatever shape or form. So again, I think it's important that coaches take themselves out of the equation for the benefit and for the value for the client. Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Thanks for your question.
And thanks for pointing it out, Alessandro. As we are learning this, and while we are getting certified and we are taking the exam to refer the client appropriately to another professional. However, there's like a couple of things which I got extremely interested while you were talking. So
Yeah.
one thing was that maybe I'll start with the second one and then we can get back to the first one. What you all just told when you started, you were concentrated purely on coaching. And now that your business grown, and I assume you found quite a few partners, you have developed programs which does not necessarily include coaching per se, but has different methods you use to solve a problem for the client, right? So I think that kind of I think that's where coaches struggle, because we coach, we really want to coach,
Yeah.
but then when it comes to business, it's not only about coaching.
How do you mean it's not only about coaching?
Like having like actual programs for the clients to address a specific problem may not be just coaching. Maybe some other methodologies you will use, or some techniques you might add, or maybe some partners you need to involve into the product building to offer like a good package.
So there are multiple things that you're mentioning here, because one aspect that you're mentioning is what you offer as a coach, and offers that you create. But then it becomes also a story about marketing and how you market yourself, and the niche aspect that you mentioned earlier. So I've always been a fan of not to rush and not to run before you can walk. So I would have never imagined at the beginning when I started my coaching that I would have this one program that I have today. Never. I would have never been able to predict in which areas I would develop myself, and where I would have some expertise, and where I can really have an impact. So it's very hard for you to know now what you're going to do in 5 years or in 10 years. Very hard. But it's also the beauty of the sector that you decided to move into, because, and I think this is an aspect important to remember, and that is quite a hopeful way to look at it. I think the beauty of coaching is that you as a coach, you should never think that you have a point of arrival. You should always think, this is where I am now, and I continue to grow, and I continue to shape myself and to develop myself. And then I stayed open. I stayed open to learn. And as I mentioned earlier, for me, success is to grow and to learn. And I started to learn deeply in 2018. I started before that to learn about coaching, and I never stop until today. It's a journey that never ends. And so, yes, when I started, it was totally 100% coaching. Now it's 80% coaching, and I have 20% of my program that is dedicated to well-being. And in well-being, there are multiple approaches that you can put together if you've learned them. But when I coach, I 100% coach, and it's only about coaching. And to understand, so it's really important what we're talking about, because if we talk about marketing, then obviously that has been a challenge at the beginning for me too. Obviously, because when I started, and again, it was before COVID, the feeling and the impression was always, as being very junior in coaching, that coaching is something nice to have. And it's difficult for potential clients sometimes to grasp, well, what is the return of invest in this? What is the value that I gain from this? And it's always something tangible that clients want to know. They always want to know before they even come into coaching, well, what is it that I'm going to achieve with this? And it's important to explain what coaching really is, what the process is about coaching, why it is so powerful, and help the client to imagine themselves into a future vision and a future way of seeing themselves after coaching. And I think this was the work that I then did in order to to explain why coaching is a solution to their problems. But you can't. It's not. You can't force it. It's not a product, right? We are being in service, and by being in service, it's a difficult business. It's not something easy. When I speak to my past colleagues from the corporate sector, they all, obviously they have a safe job. They run what their own career. They have clear targets they need to achieve, and there is a lot of clarity in what they're doing. In looking at me, they've always asked themselves, "Well, how do you do it?" Because because it's such a difficult business to be in. And I think this we need to be conscious about. I've always been in the service industry before. Before coaching in IT and telecommunications, I've always been in the service industry. And so I've always known what it means to give a service and to be of service. And even though I have my mental health program here, that looks a bit more like a product, but the coaching is not. It's a service. And again, when you sell a service, the process is longer. It's not something that is a can of Red Bull that you can put in front of on Instagram or on marketing boards, and it's easier to sell. Yeah, services are more difficult to sell for sure. Not sure if that answered your question, but I think there was more complexity behind it.
But it's a good segue into maybe my other question. Imagine that we have here coaches who are on a way to certification or just got certified, and they want to do more coaching, which means probably that they need to sell the service. They need to sell the vision for the service we're going to give. So what would you say to them? What are the first steps? Is it like you sit down and you do the niche, how you do it? Is it like you just say that you're coaching in every platform, to every friend, to every network you have? And imagine those people have networks because they have careers, they have story, history, experiences. So what do they do?
I can only say what I did.
Sure.
I can't, like in coaching, I don't tell people what to do. But what I did was to put myself in the mindset that I wanted to gain as much experience as possible. And to make as much experience as possible, I wanted to find the most simple path to get there. So simplicity, I think simplicity is the word to remember. Keep it simple and speak to your network directly. And I think one of the most difficult things to do is sometimes to ask for help. And that is, however, very powerful. So you want to gain experience, ask for it. Ask for it, because what you're doing is extremely helpful in any way. It provides benefit to people and it provides real value to people. So I think you have big and many opportunities to gain experience, to try things out by using your network. And most of people that can find it useful, that have time, will do that for you, I'm sure. Yeah, I think this is how I would approach it. And I would just, obviously, as you already know, but comes without saying, but you also need to make sure that you're not coaching people that are too close to you. That's very hard. So I don't, like, I had this one golden rule: I would not do it with friends. Absolutely not. When I was in my learning curve, when I was doing my certification, I was coaching friends on purpose because I wanted to test the difference and gain that experience as well and see what it means. And it, it proved correct. Like, it's something that I don't that I have a very clear line, a little bit like therapy, you know. I don't go there, and my friends stay friends.
Well, we all coached family and friends here.
Okay, then you know what I mean.
Yeah, we know what you mean. So you started by learning you coach people who are closer to you. Then you stepped a little bit back, and then you explored your network by saying that you're coaching, asking for help to practice coaching, right? So at one point you decided, okay, I think I'm gaining enough experience for this to be a real business, and that was the step there.
I think I didn't reach a point where I decided it's ready to have a business. I actually had the business from the very start. So even when I was doing pro bono coaching, people knew that there is lobster coaching actually. So they had already something to talk about. They had already something to share. I think that it's a bit like in startups reality. Think about the minimum viable product first. It doesn't need to be your business, your website, your landing page, your social media account doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to be present. Just be present, and just make sure that people can talk about you, mention you, ask for reviews, ask to be forwarded to other people. And this is how it all started. Again, it's really trusting the ripple effect, and also remember that there is no shortcut, and there is no way to rush these things, because people decide to have a coach when they need to have a coach, and it's something you can't push people to do. And for me, it was also very important to make baby steps, to grow one step at a time, to not be obsessed to have clients, not be obsessed to have clients. Absolutely not. For me, it was most important to expand my network, to make new connections, new relationships, and get to know more people. This is how it works for me.
That's actually a very good insight. Thank you. We forget that networking is business building, actually.
Well, people buy from people.
Right.
So it's a human to human interaction, connection. Yeah, I think it's most powerful than any marketing effort that you may want to do and that you should do as well. Why not? Of course.
Yeah.
But
That's
I
how we
wouldn't
met
have.
with Alessandra in a networking event.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And there's also another part, I think, that shouldn't be underestimated, but the importance of supervision. Certification is not enough. It's not. It doesn't guarantee any one of the quality of a coach. It does guarantee that you have met important standards. And again, like I've been member of the MCC since forever. First in the UK, then in France, now here in Portugal. And supervision has been extremely important for me always, because I remember when I didn't have it, and I do know what it means to have it. And it takes really your coaching, your business to another level. And I think it accelerates awareness of your work. It guarantees quality of your work, quality of your own mental health and capacity as a coach. Because one thing is to coach one person per day, but it's a different when you coach 4 people per day every week. Then you start to notice the charge and also the capacity, and you need to look after yourself. So apart from mental health, but supervision has also helped me to challenge me on some business aspects, some aspects of how to sell better, how to put myself out there in a better way. And yeah, so supervision is something that I recommend to everyone.
Perfect. So we have 9 minutes left. Guys, do any of you have a question? Maybe you want to just switch on your camera, switch on your microphone, and say it out loud.
Yeah, I do. So thank you, Alessandro. It was really a lot of insights, right? And as I understand you involved in many things, right? Like having a program and then doing some mentoring and then collaborating a lot of collaboration is going on, right? So, and with other coaches. I'm just curious if you can, I don't know if you can share your strategy. How did you start it, right? So let's say, okay, I'll do this first. Let's say I'll expose myself as a personal coach, and I will approach, let's say, some organizations and see, you know, maybe they have some job offer for coaches. How was it? How you collected all these pieces? Because I understand this comes through experience, right? Year by year, we are hitting these offers or opportunities. But what was the start? You know, what was your strategy to get to that point? Where are you now? Oh, we cannot hear you, Alessandra. Still not.
Probably some internet interruptions.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we do.
Okay. All right. Vaida, thank you very much for your question. It means that I haven't responded clearly before. I think, again, I want to make sure it's very clear. When I started, the first step for me was to gain experience. So I wasn't thinking about gaining customers, making money. For me, the first step was to gain experience, and what comes with that is exposure. So this is, I think, my biggest recommendation for you is to expose yourself. Expose yourself to coach and to gain diverse experiences. Yes, I positioned myself as a career coach at the beginning. It was career coaching, helping people with change, transitioning into new roles, or get a promotion. And this is where I found really a drive, because I came just before I did that. It was something where I could resonate and I can connect with a person in front of me on an emotional level, because it was exactly what I just did. And not once, I did it before as well, but it was like fresh. It was fresh in my mind. It was fresh in terms of experience. And then going out there and help people to do the same was the beginning of my strategy, was really like what I was focusing on and targeting. But as you see, things have evolved then over time. So I guess often this question of niche comes back. But I want to invite you to not be obsessed by niche too much at the beginning. I always think at this a bit like design thinking, right? Start by diverging. First, diverge the possibilities and then converge later. And when you converge, you find your niche later. But if you converge now and you stay restricted in a niche now, yes, it allows you to market yourself and put yourself out there with a very clear message. I know what it means to have a niche, and I know what it means to market yourself. But right now, you limit yourself. If you are at the very beginning, yeah, I'm speaking about that phase. If you allow yourself to converge, you allow yourself to do what entrepreneurship is really about, which is you put yourself out there to start helping people solve one problem, yeah, and you go there with one intention, but by exposing yourself, you open yourself up to, whilst you go on that journey, find the next problem, the next area, the next challenge. And by pivoting to different challenges and pivoting every now and then more often, it allows you, yes, it takes you to do detours, but that allows you then to find what you really want. And that is the whole point, to do that. I would say that if I would have niched myself from the very start, I would have never been able to become the coach that I am and to really understand what I want. I invite you, sorry, I invite you to expose yourself and to make also experiences that you don't like. That's my invitation.
And how did collaborations come in? Or when? How did you find the people to collaborate with?
For sure, the EMCC community was important. Things like this community is really important, to connect myself with people that are like-minded, that are passionate about what we do, but that they think the same way about what we do, and that you recognize they want to achieve the same or are on the same kind of mission. And I had to recognize as well several years ago that if you run yourself as a coach out there, it can quickly feel also very lonely to do this. And then I started to want to collaborate with other coaches and to want to work together. And it's not just, it's a whole experience, of course, of not working just by yourself, but it's also a chance to have greater impact, and to work even better, and again, to grow even further yourself. So
Thank you a lot. Thank you, appreciate it.
yeah, it's a pleasure. Thanks for your question.
Thanks, Alessandra. As we are running out of time, but Gins still has a question. Would you like to say it? And it's going to be our last question, unfortunately. If you have more, feel free to type, to send them to us personally on school platform, or start a discussion on a school platform. And I think Alessandra will join in and answer any of your questions, right?
With pleasure.
Gins, go ahead.
Hi, Alessandro. Do you
Hi.
still have a minute extra to answer a question?
Yes, let's go. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, just this is like a hello from the universe, this session with you, because yesterday I just had the idea that what I could do is do exactly as you recommended, reach out to people without intention for business, just grow my practice and experience, and this is like yeah, very interesting experience how it came together. But my question was, now that you have established yourself as a coach, you have coached for 10 years, what is your current kind of, do you use any kind of communication and positioning in social media, or how do you go about that part, knowing your basic approach is through the networking, but still, that's what is my question.
Yeah, thank you for your question, Jens. Yes, so I also have areas here where I want to improve, of course. I have tried also social media and on various platforms. I must say, very transparently, that I'm not the greatest fan of it. But what I have noticed is that for me, what works best is to focus on one, maximum two platforms. to be out there, to be present, and that's all that I really really do. I'm a fan of meaningful conversations, meaningful connections. So you will see that I don't have many followers on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn, and I've started then to reduce things um, and maintain focus. For me, my priority is to maintain focus on what I do and not be distracted too much. In fact, there is a new term that I came across the other day. You know, we learn a lot about critical thinking in coaching, of course, but now there's this new term about critical ignoring. And I think it's really important that we learn as well, consciously and intentionally, what to let go of and to not put energy or dedicate your energy to things. You know, we are stimulated so much every single day. And I think we need to choose wisely where we put our attention to. And so for me, to make it long story short, but I decided to focus more on growing meaningfully my network on LinkedIn. And that's where I can connect better. It's where I found better my niche because it relates more to what I do. It's much closer. Life coaches, I think maybe put yourself more out there on Facebook or on Instagram. But beware one thing, and you might have seen it as well. You might find it difficult to compete there because sorry my French, but there is a lot of bullshit out there. Yeah. So unfortunately we are confronted with those realities as well. And so it's hard for people sometimes to distinguish between, well, how do I choose a coach? Actually, where do I go? Where do I find a coach? So I did some work as well on yeah, distributing messages on this and on helping people clarify how to do that. So yeah, I think, have I answered your question? Yeah. Okay.
Jens is giving thumbs up, so he's happy. So unfortunately, we already ran out of time. Although I see this conversation could continue for 1 more hour, for sure. So maybe next time we have you back.
It would be nice. Yeah, we can do a part 2.
Perfect. And we collect the questions in advance. I see a lot of people ask literally how to start, what to do, what not to do. So let's do the part 2. And for now, I'm very, very grateful to you, Alessandro, for sharing your story, for giving insight to us, and also to everyone that you came and you asked questions and you listened. And we hope to see you soon in another event then.
Yeah, thank you, Maria, for giving me the chance to speak here in your beautiful community. It's very diverse here as well, so I really loved it and enjoyed it. And thanks everyone for joining and attending. Yeah, it was an honor. It was a privilege, and I'm really grateful as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Alessandro.
Thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a great day.